All right, we are going to look at using the online calculator with the quadratic formula. So we have the quadratic equation 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 is equal to 0. We are going to solve this rounding to the nearest tenth. A couple buttons that we'll need to be familiar with are the fraction button, which is the x over y button, and the square root button. So I've already identified that A is 3, B is -7, and C is -6. I will actually need to do two separate calculations in the calculator because of this plus or minus button. So you'll see that I've split it already on the left side of the screen with a plus sign on the left and a minus sign on the right. So we are going to begin on the left side with working through the quadratic formula with the plus sign. So we need to start with the fraction button to split this into a top and bottom, or a numerator and denominator. So we start with the opposite of b. So we're going to use the minus sign for the opposite. B is a -7, and I'm using parentheses around that negative to show that I want the opposite of the whole thing, plus the square root of -7 squared. So again, this is a negative number. I'm going to use parentheses around the -7 squared minus 4 times a. Now my a value is 3 times c, and c is a -6, all over. I'm going to click in the bottom of the fraction so that I can start working on that denominator. So it's all over 2a, 2 times a. So 2 times 3. And you can see that the answer shows up over here on the right. I get x is equal to 3. So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to remember that answer. When I added, x was equal to 3. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we want to subtract. Now, the nice thing about the online calculator is I can click back into the numerator of the fraction, and I can change that to a minus sign. Everything else stays the same. So the opposite of b, we're going to do minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a. And again, my answer shows up over here. We want the answer rounded to the nearest tenth. So here's the 10th position. I look next to it. I see there's a 6. That 6 is going to cause this to round up. So I get -0.7, -7/10. You'll notice both answers are going to be recorded. Typically, we list them numerically least to greatest.